Boot Camp is a multi-boot utility included with Apple Incorporated's OS X that assists users in installing Microsoft Windows operating systems on Intel-based Macintosh computers. The utility's Boot Camp assistant guides users through non-destructive disk partitioning of their hard disk drive and installation of Windows device drivers. The utility also installs a Windows control panel applet for selecting the boot operating system. Initially introduced as an unsupported beta for Mac OS X Tiger, the utility was first included with Mac OS X Leopard and has been included in subsequent versions of the operating system ever since. Previous versions of Boot Camp supported Windows XP, Windows Vista and Windows 7. Boot Camp 4.0 for Mac OS X Snow Leopard up to OS X Mountain Lion version 10.8.2 only supported Windows 7. However, with the release of Boot Camp 5.0 for OS X Mountain Lion version 10.8.3, only 64-bit versions of Windows 7 and Windows 8 are officially supported. Users have also installed Linux using the utility, although Apple has not listed support for Linux operating systems. Overview: holding down the Option key at startup brings up the Boot Manager, allowing the user to choose which operating system to start up. When using a non-Apple keyboard, the Alt key usually performs the same action. The Boot Manager can also be launched by holding down the A-OE menu A button on the Apple remote at startup. Boot Camp displays the open-source Xon project for dual booting Mac OS X and Windows XP. Its functionality relies on BIOS emulation through EFI and a partition table information synchronization mechanism between GPT and MB are combined. Requirements: OS X Lion and Mountain Lion. Apple's Boot Camp system requirements lists the following requirements for OS X Lion and Mountain Lion: 8GB USB storage device, or external drive formatted as MS-DOS for installation of Windows drivers for Mac hardware, 20GB free hard disk space for a first-time installation or 40GB for an upgrade from a previous version of Windows, a full version of one of the following operating systems: Windows 7 Home Premium, Professional, or Ultimate, Windows 8 and/or Windows 8 Pro. Mac OS X Leopard and Snow Leopard. Apple lists the following requirements for Mac OS X Leopard and Snow Leopard, an Intel-based Macintosh computer with the latest firmware. A Mac OS X Leopard or Mac OS X Snow Leopard installation disk or Mac OS X Disk 1 included with Macs that have Leopard or Snow Leopard pre-installed. This disk is needed for installation of Windows drivers for Mac hardware, 10GB free hard disk space, a full version of one of the following operating systems: Windows XP Home Edition or Professional with Service Pack 2 or higher, Windows Vista Home Basic, Home Premium, Business, Enterprise or Ultimate, Windows 7 Home Premium, Professional, Enterprise or Ultimate. Supported Macintosh computers with Windows 8, officially. The earliest Macintosh models that support Windows 8 are the mid-2011 MacBook Air, 13-inch mid-2011 or 15 and 17-inch mid-2010 MacBook Pro, mid-2011 Mac Mini, 21-inch mid-2011 or 27-inch mid-2010 iMac, and early 2009 Mac Pro. By running the Boot Camp Assistant with a compatible version of Microsoft Windows Setup Disk in the drive and switching to a Windows 8 disk when OS X reboots the machine to begin installing Windows, Windows 8 can be installed on older unsupported hardware. Limitations: officially Boot Camp does not work on Mac OS X Lion and later releases if more than 3 primary OS X partitions exist on the target hard drive. Since on Mac OS X Lion, the Mac operating system itself consumes 3 partitions, effectively there can only be one partition other than Boot Camp. Thus, for example, it is not officially possible to create a data partition until after creating the Boot Camp partition. There are alternatives to Boot Camp like Find which are not subject to these limitations. There is also a workaround for Mac OS X Lion which involves interrupting the standard procedure after creating the Boot Camp partition, resizing the primary OS X partition and creating a third partition in the now available space, then continuing with the Windows install. Also, it is a simple matter to fully complete the Windows installation and then create a new Mac partition. Version history: see also, Parallels Desktop for Mac, Refit and or Refined, VMware Fusion, VirtualBox, References. External links, Boot Camp support page and installation instructions, using the Apple Bluetooth wireless keyboard in Boot Camp.